everyone. Today we are checking out Ninja's newest release, the
47 litre FrostVault cooler.
Let's get into it.
So let's start unboxing and see what we've got inside. This is quite large. A lot of sticky plastic on the outside of the cooler, just to show you how sticky it is. Okay, so there we go. That's all the plastic off and out of the box. Let's have a look. First thing worth mentioning is, this is quite big.
No shit.
To open this up, we have this little locking mechanism at the front. You simply flip this up and the lid opens. And then we've got two little warnings on the, well, one warning and one tip. And the tip says, for best performance, use a minimum of 11 kilos of ice. Looking inside, doesn't actually look like a hell of a lot of space, but what you need to consider is it does actually have two drawers at the bottom to store some chilled items. And also, I believe the walls of the cooler are 3 inches thick, which allows you to obviously keep that chilledness in. It also comes with this little booklet, which I think tells you more about the cooler, how to use it, how to store it, how to secure it. It mentions there that it's got sturdy handles, thick insulation, lockable lid. It's also got a drain plug, which you can find on the side here. Once you've filled it with ice and you want to drain out all that water, you don't have to tip the box out. You simply unscrew the side and all the water comes out the side there. Another thing worth mentioning, I've just been moving this across the table and it has actually got some rubber feet on the bottom, which you could argue is a good thing, stops it from slipping if you're storing it on the back of a truck or something. However, also, if you want to slide this off anything easily, like again, slide it off the back of a truck, it's going to be a bit awkward. Now, let's check out the other cool feature about this cooler, which is the FrostVault at the bottom, which slides out like so, and we have two different compartments for storing all of your foods that you don't necessarily want to get wet with all the ice in the main compartment. Now, one of the cool things about the FrostVault compartments is that they can keep your foods at around fridge temperature, 4.5 degrees for days, whereas many other coolers on the markets can reach unsafe temperatures in a matter of a few hours. Now, Ninja recommend when loading up the FrostVault drawers that you should pre-chill your items before placing them in and load them up to its max capacity, but do not overfill. And lastly, never put ice into the FrostVault drawers, only in the main compartment. So let's talk about maximizing the ice retention. So Ninja recommend filling the main compartment with up to 33 cans and 11 kilos of ice. They also state never use dry ice and also never put ice into the FrostVault containers. Now, for the best results before using, Ninja state to leave this open for a few hours overnight, and also for even better results, they recommend filling the main compartment with a small amount of ice, then before using, empty out the ice, refill with fresh ice, and then add your pre-chilled foods. Now, let's talk about actually packing your foods and drinks in this efficiently. Now, it's recommended to fill this cooler completely with ice and all your food and drinks, and any empty spaces you have to use a towel to fill them in. And of course, to maintain the internal temperature, it's advised to always keep this closed, as well as maybe keeping it under shade or placing a tarpaulin over it. So what about securing the cooler and storing it? Now, it is recommended that when you use your cooler to always have it on an even level surface, and it's also mentioned that you should never stand on this cooler. However, you can use it as a seat for all your social events. Now, after you're done using the cooler, make sure you leave the lid open to allow it to completely dry. That way you can avoid any buildup of mold and funny smells. Then, once it's dry, close the lid and store it in a dry and cool place. And for securing the cooler, we have these two handles on the side, which can either be tied one rope through both handles, or you can use one tie on this handle and one tie on the other handle.
Right, so far we've had a look at all of the cool features of this cooler. How about we have a look at the not so cool features? Number one, as you can tell, it is very big. Let's see exactly how big. Across the top, handle to handle, we are measuring at 85 centimeters. And the other way, we've got 40 centimeters or just under 16 inches. Okay, it is also quite tall. We've got just about 47 centimeters or just over 18 inches. So yes, that is the overall size of it. On the outside it is quite large. On the inside, however, because the walls are triple layered, the space inside isn't quite as large. So we have about 25 centimeters by 56 by 29. That is the main compartment, which is still quite large considering you can fit up to 80 cans or 50 bottles. However, compared to the rest of the actual thing, it is not quite as roomy on the inside. And the actual FrostVault itself measures 27 centimeters by 22.5 by 9 centimeters. So the main drawback for me personally would be this thing is quite heavy on its own. If you add another 10 kilos of ice and 80 cans of drink plus some more stuff in the vault, then it is going to be quite heavy to lift it. I certainly wouldn't be able to do that. And it doesn't unfortunately have wheels, so that would be a bit of a pain, and you will definitely need a second person to help out, or a very strong man like the other part of Tag Team Kitchen. Right, another negative I can think of quite easily is the price. This retails at £249 in the UK, which is quite pricey. However, they do have a smaller version, which might be a little bit cheaper depending on your budget. Now that we've measured it, if you only have a small car and you're planning on taking this on a trip, might need to check the size of the space you have available, because this would probably take up the whole of the back seat or your boot. On the flip side, however, we are quite impressed at the amount of stuff you can fit in this. Also, it has the FrostVault, which no other cooler on the market has, and that allows you to keep your snacks quite handy and dry, or even if you have some sort of food like cheese, salamis, or whatever you don't want touching the ice on the inside of it. Also, it can apparently keep ice inside for up to 6 days, but we haven't had the chance to test that out yet, so stick around for that video.
So those were our first impressions on the Ninja FrostVault cooler. If you'd like to see any of our other videos, check out the link on the screen now.
Thanks for tagging along.